Hello, 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 and welcome back to another edition of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. Kyle Brenchley in the house on this Wednesday. Guys, it is a very important Wednesday because we are exactly 1 month away from college football officially beginning. 1 month away. We'll be talking about college football this entire episode. So stay tuned for that. If you are new here, welcome to Fan Talk. Fan Talk is a podcast by the fans, for the fans. And if you're a fan, you're in the right spot here. We got the posters, we got the sign, and we've got everything a fan needs to be ready for not just college football, but all your fan needs moving forward. Welcome, welcome. Fan Talk is a podcast that you can find anywhere you get your podcasts. I upload on YouTube and Spotify if you prefer the video versions. If you are watching on either of those platforms, please consider leaving a review for the show, a like on the video, and subscribing if you're on YouTube. All right, guys, it is summer, and July is always a complicated month for sports. Thankfully, we had the World Cup this year to keep us entertained in June and July. We're almost there, is what I'm trying to say. We are so close to football season starting. NFL teams have reported to camps. College football, they've been doing summer camps, and we are 1 month away from college football. And I've already talked about this in last week's episode. Week 0, right? That's kind of like the new first week where not every team plays, but a select few teams play in this week 0. Not terribly exciting games, but after a long break, people do not care. They want to go watch whatever game's on, right? So 1 month away till week 0 of college football. We'll do a full college football preview episode later on, probably in the next week or two. But until then, I want to talk about something and bring it to light to maybe the casual fan out there who's not hearing all this chatter. But college football has been fantastic ever since the dawn of time. And in the last couple years, in recent years, college football has exploded into not just a game that college people play while they're getting their 4-year degrees. It has now become the most lucrative business on the planet. With NIL deals where players are playing longer, they're staying 5-6 years in college, extending their eligibility. They're not going for the degrees. They're not going for a profession. They are making millions of dollars through NIL deals, name, image, likeness. And it's literally a big business now. I mean, sports have always been a big business, but it's just exploded. It's gotten out of control. It's absolutely wild. That is the landscape of college football in 2026. And from the business standpoint, they want to brand and market and make it bigger. So how do you do that? Well, in the past, college football had this system called the BCS, and you were ranked throughout the season based on your record, based on the teams you beat. You were given a number rank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? If you were in the top 25, you were doing pretty good. And at the end of the season, all these teams would make bowl games. The top 2 ranked teams, number 1, number 2, would play in the BCS championship game. They eventually expanded that to 4 teams. They made a 4-team college football playoff where the top 4 teams, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. They expanded that in recent years, and now we are at 12 teams. So a lot more teams get the opportunity to play and to get in. Has its pros and cons, and I've talked about that extensively on this podcast. Go check out some of those videos from last season. But now we've opened Pandora's box, right? It was very easy to say these are the best 2 teams. Every season, the best 2 teams. Even 4 teams, the best 4 teams, you can pretty much say without a doubt who are the best 4 teams. You expand it to 12. And now there's 12 potential spots up for grabs. Now, of course, how it stands right now, if you win your conference, if you win the group of teams that you're put in with, then you get an automatic bid into the college football playoff. Some of those spots are going to be taken by the top teams, and there's theoretically 4, 5, 6 spots, right, that are available to other teams. But now that the fact that there's 12 teams that can make the college football playoff, Now everybody thinks they deserve to be included, right? Back when it was 2 teams or 4 teams, you pretty much knew if your team was a top 4 team or one of the top teams. But now that it's 12, everybody thinks they deserve to be in. There has been talk from the Big Ten. The Big Ten is one of the conferences in college football, one of the biggest ones, in fact. They want a 24-team playoff. 12 times as big as the BCS, 6 times as big as the original college football 14 format, and twice as big as the current format. 24 teams. Let me know your initial thoughts when you hear that. I mean, you've probably already been thinking about this. This is not new. They've thrown this out in years past to say how many teams is good. Is 12 good? Is 16? And 24? 8? Like all these numbers they've been throwing out. 24 teams. What would that mean? What would that look like? Well, it's hard to say, but my initial thoughts on what that would look like is this. Obviously, more teams would be in. On the positive side, you would get teams that probably should have made the 12-team format. Last year, you think of Notre Dame, you think of BYU, you think of Texas, you think of Utah, Vanderbilt. Those 5 teams that were kind of sitting on the outside but did not get in, whereas a Miami team got in and Alabama got in and Oklahoma got in. They would make it. They would make it with the 20-team format. I assume they would still have the conference champions go through, so those 5 or 6 spots would be taken, and then the next 18 teams would fill in the rest. But then you're getting 3 lost teams and 4 lost teams. You're getting an 8-4 team making the 24-team college football playoff. You're getting number 23 Iowa State, or if Michigan's good, or Wisconsin. You're getting a 23 ranked team that has 4 losses. Is that really good for the sport? Is that really good for viewership, right? At the end of the day, we got to remember this is all about money. It's all about making money, right? So what's going to make college football the most money? Do they believe that having an 8-4 Tennessee or an 8-4 Iowa State in the college football playoff is going to make them more money, right? We already look at last year's, and last year's bracket had some teams that, you're like, do they really belong in there, right? Like, James Madison, of course, they won their conference, so they get that bid. That wasn't a terribly competitive game. You look at Tulane, they got whooped by Ole Miss. A&M absolutely laid an egg. They were one of the best teams all year, and they laid an egg. So there's no real indicator that even if you're good, that you'll play good, right? But it just doesn't seem like an 8-4 team. Like if we have 24 teams, I don't know. I don't know if 24 is the answer. I really don't think it is. Because if you expand it from 12, where everyone thinks they deserve to be in, to 24, where literally everybody gets in, then what are we playing for? What are we playing for? There's something in having a stiff requirement, right? When it was the 4-team college football playoff, there was something about that. You pretty much had to be flawless. You had to go undefeated, and if you did lose, it had to be lost to a good opponent. There was no way that you would lose 2 games and get in. Whereas now, if the 12-team format, you lose 1 or 2 games, then you could get in, right? We had a couple teams that had 2 losses. We had a freaking 3-loss team in Alabama who got in over all these 2-loss teams. So if we're having 3-loss teams get in for the 12-team format, we're going to have 4-loss teams getting in for the 24 format? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. I don't know if 24 is the answer. I don't think 12 is perfect either. I'm glad they expanded it from 4, right? Give more teams opportunity. I don't know if 8 is too little. 16 might be too much, but if 12 is not the answer, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. I think there are some good things with the 12-team format, but it does present a lot of problems. I'm seeing very, very little positives with this 24-team format. I mean, congratulations, your team got into the college football playoff. If we have 24 teams, your team's going to get into the college football playoff every single year. Let me know what you guys think down below with the 24-team format. Are you guys for it? Are you against it? Let me know. Another interesting thing that I'd like you guys to consider that we should talk about is the SEC, the Southeastern Conference. It's another group of colleges, group of teams within college football. there have been rumors and talks that they want to eventually break away from the NCAA. So they would no longer be in college football. They would have their own league. And you're probably wondering, how is that even possible? Like, come on, these are colleges. They can't do that. But we're so far gone from this just being college sports. This is like a professional league, a semi-professional league already. Like, we've moved away from the education, and it is just all business. It is all football. It is all money. So the SEC moving away from the college football, from NCAA, not impossible. Would I like to see that? Absolutely not. But if the SEC goes and forms their own league where they just play each other, then for sure the 2014 format should not exist. Because if you take all the SEC teams away, and I'm not saying the SEC is the best conference, but they historically have a lot of teams that make the college football playoff. They had 5 teams make the college football playoff last year. So if you take them all away and you have this 2014 format, then you're getting teams like Minnesota, who go 7-5 or 6-6, or Big 12 Baylor, who goes 7-5, that are making this 2014 format. And all of a sudden you got these 7-5, 6-6 teams, and it's like, these teams are supposed to be playing in the Duke Mayo's Mayonnaise Bowl. Like, what's going on? 24, definitely not the answer. Now, I'm not saying the SEC will break away from college football. I really don't think they should. But this is the landscape of college football. The sport that we love has become something that we can't control. It's just out of control. And I really hope it does not taint what college football is and what it means to us. Hopefully moving forward, there is some sort of solution to this. It's a very interesting time for college football. 2026 season, huge expectations, a lot of big time players coming back, a lot of teams changing, getting new coaches, getting new players from the transfer portal, shuffling it up. Should be a very fantastic year. Again, stay tuned. We will do a college football preview in the next week or two. Stay tuned for that episode. Again, 1 month away. Hang on, guys. We are so close. Thank you guys for tuning in to this quick Fan Talk episode. Before I let you go, I do want to give a shout out to the Utah Talons. The Utah Talons are the women's professional softball team here in Salt Lake City. You're probably wondering, there's professional softball? Well, there is now. This is the second season of women's professional softball. It's called the AUSL League. And there's 8 teams throughout the country. They play a very short season. They start at the beginning of June and they end in mid-July. Very short season. I think they played 24 games, and the Utah Talons are the only team to win the championship. They won it last year in the inaugural year, and they won it this year. So the Utah Talons, back-to-back women's softball champions. Congratulations to them. A little local shout out. And now you know that there's women's softball in a professional setting. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Fan Talk. Again, this is a podcast you can find anywhere you get your podcast. Again, if you're listening on YouTube, please consider subscribing. If you like what you hear, give this video a like. If you're on Spotify, rate the show. I appreciate it, guys. More college football to come, so let's go. I'll see you guys next week for another edition of Fan Talk.